The president responded to everything we're seeing play out early this morning by warning, and I'm quoting him now, "I will institute the Insurrection Act if needed." Now, the president is starting to do so on many occasions. You've obviously heard this before since he was back in office about a year ago. He's never actually gone as far as to do so. And it would be a dramatic escalation if he did, given this would allow the president to deploy the military inside the United States to suppress rebellion or enforce federal law. It's a power that has been used pretty sparingly throughout our nation's history. But the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, did confirm today while she was speaking with reporters at the White House that she has talked about this with the president today.
Would you describe it as an insurrection, and do you believe the president should invoke the Insurrection Act?
I describe it as violent and a violation of the law in many places. I discussed with the president this morning several things that we are dealing with under the department and different operations. We did discuss the Insurrection Act. He certainly has the constitutional authority to utilize that.
We've seen presidents invoke this act before. President Lincoln at the start of the Civil War, President Grant during the efforts to dismantle the KKK. One of the most notable uses actually happened during the Civil Rights era, when federal authority was used to enforce court-ordered desegregation and to protect Black Americans. And it's that same authority that is now being discussed amid the protests that we are seeing over federal enforcement actions that have been playing out. In St. Paul, a school district spokesperson said there that federal agents actually stopped 2 vans that were carrying students and staff on their way to school. And in other parts of the country, we're also seeing reports of expanded federal enforcement actions as well. In Santa Ana, California, a protester there was struck in the face by a projectile that had been fired at close range by an officer. That person's family now says that he has lost vision in one of his eyes. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, Customs and Border Protection officers smashed a vehicle window during a stop, even after the driver told them that he was a U.S. citizen, according to this video of the encounter. In Minneapolis, though, a man who was pumping gas recorded his interaction with federal agents as they questioned his citizenship. Here, federal agents are pulling the woman from her car. She said there in that moment, as we'll show it to you now, that she was disabled and going to the doctor. Well, she has since clarified in a statement she was on her way to a traumatic brain injury appointment when this moment happened, where they had to cut her seatbelt off of her to pull her out of the car. The Department of Homeland Security says that she was arrested for obstructing officers during an enforcement operation and that she was ignoring their commands. But what we are seeing play out tonight, well, we know for sure, more and more people have been filming their own interactions with agents.
Do you have some ID then, please?
I don't need that.
If not, we're going to put you in the vehicle and we're going to ID you.
I am U.S. citizen.
All right, can we see an ID, please? Where were you born?
This is my home.
We're doing an immigration check. We're doing a citizen check.
This is
and we're asking you where you were born.
We've heard from the administration here in Washington saying that those actions, those questions, they believe are lawful and consistent with longstanding policy.
Secretary Noem, are you okay with federal agents and officers violating people's Fourth Amendment rights by asking for papers without reasonable suspicion?
Every single action that our ICE officers take is according to the law and following protocols that we have used for years, that this administration has used, that the previous administration used. They are doing everything correctly, and over again in litigation in the courts, we've proven that they've done the right thing.
Our senior crime and justice correspondent, Shimon Prokupez, is on the ground in Minneapolis tonight, where we've seen a lot of action happening just in the last hour or so. The president...
Shalom. All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations and blessings to the Akyam, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth and risking the one lives through the four corners of the earth. To the Akwath, listening and learning in sincerity, and in truth and in silence, Shalom. This is your brother Shema from the GMS Toronto camp here in Toronto. Here's another lesson. Right? And we see things getting more and more dicey more and more volatile, right? And this is all prophecy, right? And we know all the world is a stage once again, and we know everything is orchestrated, right? We know the tiny tops, Amalek, the ruling class elites want these things. They want the destabilization, right? We know there's agent provocateurs. We know there's actors, you know? But all roads lead to the MOTB. Destabilize, right? What is it? Order ab chaos. Problem, reaction, solution, right? They're stirring up a problem. And what's the reaction? Troops, mobilization. And what's the solution? The MOTB, right? Because this economy is going to crash. Civil order is going to crash, is turning into civil unrest, right? Scriptures say, I will set Egyptian against Egyptian. That's what we see here, man. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, right? Woe meaning destruction. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Right? The sword, a killing instrument. Right? What's the modern day sword? The blicky, the stick. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? Armed people against armed people. Right? Civil unrest, class wars, racial wars. Right? Where's your papers, sir? Right? Carting off people, masked ICE agents carting off people in vans to detention centers. It says here, for there shall be sedition among men, right? You look at this word sedition, is rebellion. And when you look at this word insurrection, an uprising against civil authority, right? And this is the online etymology. 15th century, insurrection, right? An uprising against civil authority. The people are getting pissed off, right? It says here, a rising up. To rise up. Second Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men, right? Rebellion. And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? It's going to get to the point where people ain't going to want to hear from the governor, the mayor, the police chief, right? They're not going to want to hear none of it. And the course of their action shall stand in their power, right? They're going to be wilding, and they're going to do what they want. It's going to get that dark. Right? It's going to continue to get darker. I asked chat, what happens if the Insurrection Act is invoked in the U.S.? It says here, invoking the Insurrection Act is the legal equivalent of pulling a dusty sword off the wall and saying, we're doing this the old way. The old way, right? And what is Esau, Edom, beginning with his elites, accustomed? What is their old way? The sword. Right? Let's get that in our Revelation. Revelation 13. Revelation 13. Revelation 13 and 11. And it reads, it says here, the beast from the earth. And it reads, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. Right, this beast, America the Great, Babylon the Great, Rome 2.0, NATO, the EU. And he had two horns like a lamb, right? The two horns like a lamb is two political parties, right? Rome 2.0, America is in the image of Rome, right? two horns like like a lamb, right? Two political parties, the left and the right, the blue and the red, the Republican and the Democrats. The ancient Romans had two parties, the plebeians and the patricians, right? Two horns like a lamb, right? And listen, the soothsaying, the soft talk, that's about to be over with, right? Politically correct, right? The soft speech, the fair speech. What wantest thou? Vote for me, and I will clean up the inner city. All of that talk's about to be done with. They're about to show their horns. They're about to get really draconian. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, right? Draconian measures, right? It's about to get real draconian, where you get snatched up, carted off, detention centers, get down or lie down. Right? It reads here, it's constitutional, rare, and a flashing warning light that normal order is wobbling, right? So we're seeing the warnings that normal order, right, is wobbling. Here's what actually happens stripped of cable news hysteria. The president can deploy federal troops, says here, point one. The president can deploy federal troops inside the U.S. Active duty military or federalized National Guard can be sent into states to suppress insurrection or rebellion, enforce federal law when states can't or won't, protect constitutional rights when states fail to do so. This bypasses the usual rule that the military stays out of domestic policing. Posse comitatus steps aside temporarily, uneasily. Number two, state consent is optional if a governor asks for help. It's clean and cooperative if a governor refuses and the president invokes the act anyway. Federal authority overrides state objections. That's when everyone starts quoting the Constitution like it's a talisman. Number three, soldiers can perform law enforcement functions. That means guarding infrastructure, enforcing curfews, assisting or replacing local police, detaining individuals if ordered. They're trained for combat, not community relations. This is why people get nervous. Civil liberties tighten. Formally, the Constitution says it stays in place. Practically, protests can be restricted. Movement can be limited. Federal authority expands fast, right? Draconian. You can't move around. You can no longer protest. You can't move freely. Let's get a scripture. We were reading 2 Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? Restricted movement, checkpoints, 15-minute cities. Where's your papers? Are you an American citizen? You can't go with here. Come with us. And they handcuff you. Right? Checkpoints. Right? National Guard deployed in the streets because the insurrection is invoked. Now you can't go from A to B. You can't go to the gas station. You can't go to the grocery store. Everything is questioned. Everything's scrutinized. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, right? A vibration of fear. It's going to get real dark, right? Listen, these ICE agents are showing you that they're not going to hold the sword in vain. Right? The Lord is going to use these ICE agents and these mobilized National Guards to punish 2/3 of our people. Let's get Psalms. Psalm 17. I'm beginning with the elder apostles on down. We've been telling you, right? 2/3 of our people going to suffer horrific harsh judgments, man. Psalm 17. Psalm 17 and 13. And it reads, Psalm 17 and 12. NLT. They are like hungry lions, eager to tear me apart, like young lions hiding in ambush. Verse 13, KJV. Arise, O Lord. Psalm 17 and 13, KJV. Arise, O Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, right? The wicked, Esau, Edom, according to scripture. He is the sword of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai on the left-hand side. He's going to be used to inflict judgment on 2/3 of our people. Right? Scripture say he beareth not the sword in vain. Let's get that real quick. Romans 13. Romans 13 and 4. Romans 13 and 4. It reads, for he is the minister of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is a minister of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Right? These ICE agents, militaries, National Guard troops, right? The Lord's going to use them to stomp out, to punish 2/3 of our people. Right? It's not going to get. Listen, it's going to get real. Scripture say, perilous times. Let's get that. The elect are going to be preserved. Right? Lord willing, we'll have that number. The elect have nothing to worry about. Lord willing, we'll have that number. Second Timothy 3 and 1, and it reads, this know also that in the last days, right? We're in the last days. These are the last days. Perilous time shall come, right? Perilous. Let's look at this word, perilous. Right? The elect are going to be preserved. Yeah, listen. Spirits created for vengeance are going to be mowing through 2/3 of our people, as well as these heathens, these other nations. Perilous. Strong's G 5467. Kalepos in the Greek. Hard to do, to take, to approach. Hard to bear, troublesome, dangerous, harsh, fierce, savage. These are the times that are coming. These are the times that we are about to be immersed in. Savage times. 2/3 Jake's love running around out here. Savage. Right? These are the times that are about. These are the times that are about to be unleashed out here. Right? Spirits are going to be on these ICE. Spirits are already on these ICE agents, man. They're deleting. Right? Trump and JD Vance said they're granting immunity to these ICE agents. Man, call Allah Yahweh Shimon Shai. 2 Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Right? Home invasions, people bugging out, wilding out, no order, civil unrest, armed neighbors running up in their neighbors' homes and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, right? Great tribulation, lack of bread, food insecurity, right? Spoil their goods. That's home invasions, robbery. Hey, it's going to get dark. The law going to be out the window. Martial law going to be instituted. Or the Insurrection Act will be invoked. Right? And carnage and bloodshed. Perilous times. Right, but that's it on that. I pray edified. Call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makahakorash. Double honors to the apostles, and elders of great millstone to teach well and rule well. Shalom to the elect.